All right, welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be taking a look at Eddie Pinero's motivational video called Never Give Up on Yourself. And we're going to be kind of looking at the power of personal narratives and how we can use those to break free from limiting beliefs.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We all create stories about ourselves
Right.
based on our experiences.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating how those narratives, as Pinero points out in the video, can actually become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Self-fulfilling prophecies, huh? Like, how would that work?
So he uses a really simple example in the video, wearing a green shirt. If someone wears a green shirt every day,
Okay.
they might start thinking of themselves as the green shirt person.
Okay, I see. And then, like, they feel obligated to wear a green shirt every day because that's part of their story now.
Exactly, yeah. And
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
seems silly with a green shirt, but then he applies this concept to something more substantial,
Right.
like running. He talks about how, being a long-distance runner made it hard for him to even imagine himself gaining weight and building muscle.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because he was so attached to the label of runner.
Right, even though he wasn't running much anymore, that old narrative was still holding him back. Makes you think, right, what limiting beliefs are we all holding on to without even realizing it?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Like, what stories are we telling ourselves that are preventing us from growing and reaching our full potential?
Yeah, and Pinero really wants us to recognize those limitations we set for ourselves. Oftentimes they're arbitrary limitations. He talks about salary expectations, for example.
Oh, yeah. Like, when someone says, I make $80,000 a year, so I'm looking for a new job that pays around $80,000.
Yes, exactly. But why 80? Where did that number come from?
Yeah.
It could be a limiting belief disguised as a reasonable expectation.
Isn't there some value in having a salary target, though? I mean, it provides focus in a job search.
That's a good point, yeah. But I think Pinero would probably argue that questioning those seemingly fixed numbers is crucial. He emphasizes the importance of self-worth. He says that you have to see yourself as worthy of something before you can achieve it.
Oh, okay. So it's not just about wanting something, it's about believing that you deserve it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about shifting your mindset
Yeah.
and recognizing your own value.
He also tells that funny story about his old commute
Oh, yeah.
from Boston to Worcester for a job that he didn't even enjoy.
Yes.
He and his friend used to joke about getting a flat tire just to avoid going to work.
It's so relatable.
Yeah,
It is.
it is.
It's such a great example of clinging to those comfortable narratives even when they're not serving us anymore. Deep down, I think he knew he wasn't happy, but he stayed because it was familiar.
Yeah.
It took a lot of courage to finally change his story.
Yeah, it sounds like he was trapped in that this is what you're supposed to do mentality, even though it wasn't fulfilling him.
Exactly. And this leads us to one of the most empowering ideas in the video, I think. Our ability to change and reinvent ourselves. Pinero calls it our superpower.
There's that great quote by George Eliot, right? It's never too late to be who you might have been.
Absolutely, that's so true. We're not stuck. We can walk away from those narratives that aren't adding value and start creating new chapters. Chapters that align with who we want to be.
But change can be so scary. How do we actually go about, like, rewriting our stories? Does Pinero give any practical advice in the video?
He does. He talks about taming the chaos, learning to handle stress and adversity in a way that empowers us rather than overwhelms us. And he uses this really interesting analogy of physical fitness, specifically interval training.
This is where it gets really interesting for me personally because sometimes I struggle with feeling overwhelmed. So how does he connect interval training to handling stress?
Well, those moments in a workout when you're really pushing your limits?
Yeah.
Like you're physically uncomfortable and you just want to stop.
Right.
He compares those moments to the challenges we face in life. And it's all about learning to separate how we feel from what needs to be done.
Right.
In those moments of intense discomfort, you have a choice. Give in to the exhaustion
Right.
or push through.
So instead of getting swept up in the chaos, we can take control of our reactions.
Yes.
And make conscious choices even when things feel out of control.
Exactly. And Pinero argues that this skill, this being able to push through discomfort, it translates to any challenging situation in life, whether it's at work, relationships, or just dealing with unexpected obstacles. I mean, let's face it, we're constantly bombarded with information and stimulation these days.
Right.
It's so easy to feel overwhelmed and reactive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like mental interval training. We
Right.
can train ourselves to push through those mental and emotional hurdles.
Exactly. And then he also introduces this thought-provoking idea uh, that the enemy of great isn't bad, it's good.
Wait, what? How can good be the enemy of great?
Well, he's suggesting that good can make us complacent. We get comfortable with good, and we stop pushing ourselves towards great.
Oh, okay, okay. So comfort can become a trap, preventing us from experiencing true meaning and fulfillment.
Yeah, it's like we're settling for a lukewarm existence instead of embracing, the full spectrum of human experience.
Right. It's like choosing to watch the game from the bench instead of stepping onto the court and actually playing, right? You don't have to be LeBron James, but you can still be the star of your own life.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's often when we step outside of our comfort zones that we find the greatest rewards, right? It's about taking calculated risks and pursuing things that truly matter to us, even if it means facing discomfort and uncertainty.
And he tells the inspiring story of his friend Keith, who built a successful business installing and repairing commercial pizza ovens.
Oh yeah, Keith's story is a great example of taking ownership, and finding a pursuit that you're passionate about. I mean, he faced challenges, but he was determined to create something of his own. And, that drive, that sense of purpose, that fueled his success.
It really makes you think, what are we willing to risk to create something meaningful in our own lives? What are the pizza ovens that we're meant to build?
That's the question, isn't it? And Pinero links this back to the risk-reward dynamic, right? He reminds us that discomfort is often the price we pay for growth and fulfillment.
So we shouldn't necessarily avoid discomfort then. It can actually be a sign that we're on the right track.
Yeah,
Stretching ourselves and moving towards something greater.
absolutely. And then let's talk about another powerful message that Pinero brings up in this video. We are not helpless. We have the ability to shape our own destinies.
I love the metaphor he uses of pulling your dreams into your orbit. It's such a vivid image of taking control and making things happen. But how do we actually do that?
It starts with recognizing that we have more control than we often realize. I think Pinero would argue that we've been conditioned to think small, to play it safe, and to avoid failure at all costs.
Right.
But that mindset can really limit our potential. What if we shifted our focus from avoiding failure to embracing possibility? What if, instead of asking, how do I not mess this up, we started asking, what amazing thing can I bring into the world?
That's a really important shift in perspective. When we start playing small and start playing full out, that's when the real magic happens.
Absolutely. And he talks about this a little bit in the context of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs, they understand that risk-reward dynamic. They're willing to put it all on the line because they believe in their vision. They're passionate about their pursuit. But he's not saying that everyone needs to become an entrepreneur.
Right. It's more about adopting that mindset, that
Yeah.
willingness to embrace risk and pursue meaning, no matter what path we choose.
Exactly. It's about finding that thing, that pizza oven, that lights us up and makes us feel truly alive. And then having the courage to go after it, even if it means facing discomfort and uncertainty. I mean, isn't that what life is all about? Finding that thing that makes us want to jump out of bed in the morning, that gives us a sense of purpose and fulfillment.
Yeah, and there will be setbacks and challenges along the way, of course. How does Pinero suggest that we deal with those inevitable bumps in the road?
Well, he reminds us that we have the power to choose how we respond to challenges. We can let them defeat us, or we can use them as fuel to grow stronger and more resilient. And when we're feeling overwhelmed, when the chaos seems all-consuming, he gives this very simple but profound piece of advice. Breathe.
Sometimes the simplest advice is the most powerful. Just taking a moment to breathe can help us reconnect with our inner strength and choose our next step with intention and clarity.
It's about reclaiming our power, recognizing that we're not victims of circumstance, but rather we're creators of our own realities. And Pinero, he challenges us to examine the stories that we're telling ourselves, the beliefs that might be holding us back. What if those stories aren't true? What if we have the power to rewrite them?
So it's about questioning the status quo, challenging the limitations that we've placed on ourselves, and daring to dream bigger, bolder dreams.
It all starts with a single question. What if? What if today was the day that we decided to step into our full potential? What if we finally gave ourselves permission to be who we were meant to be?
Those are powerful questions, and they lead to even more powerful possibilities. It's time to stop playing small, rewrite our stories, and create a life that truly reflects our deepest values and aspirations. So it sounds like Pinero's message is all about, taking ownership, right, and rewriting those narratives that might be holding us back.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And he doesn't just leave us with, these abstract concepts. He actually offers a really powerful call to action. He challenges us to stop waiting.
Yeah.
Stop waiting for permission, for the perfect moment, for someone else to tell us it's okay to dream big and pursue those passions.
So he's urging us to start, like, today, to just take that first step.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
To make a choice, even a small one that moves us closer to that life that we envision for ourselves.
Right.
He asks, what if today you created a new ending? One that lights you up in the morning and contributes to your sense of purpose.
It's a beautiful invitation, like an invitation to just let go of, the fear, the doubt, those limiting beliefs that have been holding us back.
Absolutely. It's about, stepping boldly into the unknown,
Yeah.
into that realm of infinite possibility. And Pinero reminds us that we don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who lift you up, who believe in your dreams.
Find your tribe, your community, your support system. I think that's something we can all do, even if it's just one person who really supports you.
Absolutely. And when we come together, when we share our stories, when we support each other's journeys, we create like this ripple effect, right? This ripple effect of positive change that can transform not only our own lives, but the world around us.
I love that idea. Our individual journeys, our stories, they all contribute to something bigger.
We all have a story to tell. We all have a unique contribution to make. And when we have the courage to share our stories, to embrace our imperfections, to let our light shine, we create a more vibrant, a more connected, a more meaningful world for everyone.
So to wrap up this deep dive, what's like the one key takeaway you'd want to leave our listeners with?
I think it's this. The power is within you. It always has been. You have the ability to choose your direction, to navigate the twists and turns of life, and to create a destination that truly reflects who you are and what you want to experience.
Yeah, don't let this deep dive end here, right? Like, take these ideas, these insights, let them simmer. Journal about them, talk about them with a friend, meditate on them. Let Pinero's message be a catalyst for transformation in your own life.
Ask yourself, what limiting belief am I ready to let go of? What dream am I ready to pull into my orbit? What new ending am I ready to create?
It's time to rewrite your story.